Welcome to Simply Good, Cooking with Rebecca. Today I'll be making an Italian potato and sausage soup. If you're a fan of Olive Garden's Zuppa Toscana, you'll love this soup. First, I'm going to start by chopping my onion. Okay, I've quartered my onion, and for soups, I like to do my onion in the food processor. It saves you some chopping, and it gets a nice fine mince on the onion, so that it kind of just fades away into the soup. You never have a chunk of onion in your soup. So I just quarter my onion, and then drop it in my food processor. And then just pulse until it's the consistency that you would like. I've almost pureed my onions because I don't like chunks of onion in my soup. If you like a little bit more onion in your soup, you can make a much finer or a much more coarse chop. I'm just going to set this over on the stove so I can, not on the stove, near the stove, so it's there when I need it. One tip is you want to just let your onion juices settle if you're using a food processor. If you take the lid off right away, you'll get a bunch of onion juice in your face, and that's not very pleasant. My next step is I'm just going to chop one piece of bacon into about 1/4 inch pieces. Now that I've cut my piece of bacon, we're going to move over to the stove and brown up some sausage with the bacon and then put in our onions. So we're going to turn our stove on to a high heat. I'm going to be browning up about 1/2 pound of Italian sausage. This is mild. If you want a little more heat, hot is fine. I bought bulk Italian sausage. If you can't find bulk Italian sausage, you can just take the casings off, about 1/2 pound of links. Okay, once you have your sausage just starting to brown, you can add in your bacon. And then you're going to want to make sure your bacon and your sausage are pretty cooked before you add in your onion. Cooked my bacon and my sausage now. I ended up turning my heat down a little bit. It's cooking a little too fast. Now I'm just going to add in my onion. Okay, our onions are just going to cook here on medium to high heat for about 5 minutes until they're nice and soft and translucent. And while they're doing that, I'm going to go prep the next ingredients. First thing I'm going to get ready is some garlic. 1 large clove or 2 medium or small cloves. Okay, once you have your garlic peeled, you can set that aside. I'll be pressing that into the soup in just a minute. I've pre-peeled some potatoes here. I have about 4 medium potatoes. You just want to thinly slice these. Once your potatoes are sliced, we're going to head back over to the stove. Get some of this stuff out of the way. Alright. My onions look good. We're going to press the garlic in. If you prefer, mincing it is fine. After you've added your potatoes, you're going to be adding chicken stock. 3 cans of chicken stock. Okay, once you have your 3 cans of stock added, you're going to turn your heat back up to high if you've turned it down. Give it a quick stir. We're going to be bringing this to a boil and then reducing it to a simmer for about 15 minutes just until your potatoes are tender. Alright, we're just gonna rough chop our kale. You can chop it as rough or as fine as you like for your soup. You don't want to use the stems of the kale, they're pretty tough, so you pull off the leaves. We're looking for about 2 cups chopped. And kale comes in pretty big bunches at the grocery store, if more than you'll use in the soup. If you're not a big kale eater, you don't eat it in a lot of other dishes, you can just chop it all at once and freeze it in 2-cup portions, and then it's all ready next time you make the soup. You can just pull a portion out of the freezer and drop it actually just frozen into the soup. Alright, finished chopping my kale. We can go and see if our potatoes are ready. You want the potatoes to be fork tender. And mine are perfect. So we're just going to add in the kale. Once you finish adding your kale, give that a stir and reduce it to a simmer. You don't want it on a hard boil. Once your kale is stirred in, we're going to be adding a 1/2 cup of cream. Alright, once your kale and your cream are in, just a little pinch of salt and a few grinds of black pepper. And then let that simmer until the kale is nice and tender, about 5 minutes. And that completes our Italian sausage and potato soup. It's a nice at-home version of Olive Garden Zuppa Toscana. It's quick, it's easy, and it's simply good.